Allison Carroll Duffy lives in Brunswick and is an expert on jams, jellies, marmalades, everything from the world of preserves. She's also the author of Preserving with Pomona's Pectin. She's with us in the 207 kitchen at Main Studios. What are you going to make for us today, Allison?
We are going to make strawberry vanilla preserves.
Sounds pretty good to me.
So,
where do we begin?
All right, we're going to start with 2¼ pounds of strawberries. That's about this amount here.
Okay.
All right, and we're going to get these heating up. I've already prepared them here. They're
whole, ready to go?
Yep, they're whole. They're all washed, and they've had the stems taken off them. We're going to add about a ½ cup of water.
Okay, so that's a very modest amount of water for what you got, a big pot and quite a lot of strawberries.
So what we're going to do is we're basically just trying to heat the berries up without crushing them, and that's the thing that's different about a preserve than a jam.
Okay.
Is that with a preserve you're going to mostly keep the berries whole.
Yes.
Rather than with a jam, they're mashed.
Got it.
So when you stir, if you wouldn't mind stirring, I'll do the next step. So you want to kind of stir from underneath so you don't smash them. So essentially we're just trying to heat the berries without crushing them at all.
Got it.
And so while you're doing that, I'm going to get going with the pectin. So the first step of the pectin, we're using Pomona's Pectin.
Right.
And in the package, this is a special kind of pectin that gels with the addition of calcium rather than the addition of sugar, which is different than most
So
pectins.
does this result in a less sweet?
It doesn't necessarily taste less sweet, but you can get away with using a lot less sugar.
Okay.
And you can also use different types of sweeteners, which isn't the case with all types of pectin.
Okay.
So in your box of Pomona's Pectin, you've got a package of pectin powder, and then you also have a packet of calcium powder. So the first step before you even start cooking is you're going to mix up your calcium water. That's what I have here, which is a ½ teaspoon of calcium powder with a ½ cup of water. Shake it up. Now this is way more than we're going to need for this recipe. You make it once and keep it in the fridge. Okay. Right? So then you use a little bit with each recipe.
Allison, wait a sec. My berries are getting very soft, and so as I turn them, they get a little mushy.
So that's okay.
Is that all right?
A little bit is okay. Just kind of go underneath them and do your best.
My best isn't very good. That's the problem.
All right, we're going to add 1½ teaspoons of calcium water to this, and then we have to put in the most important part, which is the vanilla.
Right.
Because that is the special flavor here. Now, I have taken a whole vanilla bean, and I've already sliced it, but I'll just explain what you're going to do.
Okay.
You're going to want to slice down the length of the vanilla bean with a knife, and then you kind of open it up, and you're just going to scrape the insides out, which I've already done, and that's what I'm going to put in here. So these are the little vanilla bean seeds.
And is the goal to have the vanilla be fairly subtle, or do you like it to be fairly assertive?
I like vanilla, so I guess it depends. I guess it depends what you like.
Do it to taste.
Yeah, so, I'm going to throw the pot in too. We'll take that out at the end, but that just adds, and you can just kind of mix that in there.
Got it.
So the calcium water's in there. Now, once this is at a boil, which it pretty much is, we are going to get ready to add our pectin. So the first step with the pectin is we're going to mix our 1½ teaspoons of pectin powder. That's in this big packet that comes in here.
Yes.
And we're going to mix that in the sugar and stir that up. The reason you don't put it in directly is because this will allow it to dissolve more easily if it's mixed within the sweetener first.
Got it.
And, and that's nice and
looking
hot.
Okay?
Yeah, it looks great.
I do have some experience in this line of work, Allison.
I've
told you this before. I used to help my mom make strawberry jam when I was a kid and when I was a teenager, and I always loved doing it.
Yeah, I can tell you have experience. All right, here we go. So now go ahead and stir. You're going to stir like crazy until that's all dissolved.
Okay.
And then once that comes back up to a boil, after we dissolve everything, it's going to be done.
All right, so people who are wondering how much time to allow for this from start to finish, what do you figure?
Oh, if you're doing it in your own kitchen, because I prepared it beforehand, probably a ½ hour.
And then how much will this make?
So this will make 4 to 5 of these ½ jars. Okay. And the really nice thing about preserves, which is different than jams, is they're kind of a little fancier, and I think. And you can put them on like cheesecake or on top of a sundae because you've got whole pieces of strawberries. You've got whole strawberries rather than a mash.
And what is the difference in the definition?
So a preserve essentially is either whole pieces of fruit, whole berries, or chunks or large chunks that are kind of suspended in a syrup.
Which is why we didn't want this to get mashed up.
Exactly.
All right.
And so that's.
Do we need to let this come to a full boil?
To dissolve the pectin, yes, but it's essentially done and then and that's actually pretty much at a boil now.
So the pectin is dissolved and this is ready to go?
That is ready to go.
So the next step is?
We can put it in jars if you want to have it in the fridge. You can serve it on your ice cream. You can basically you want to put it into whatever kind of container you're going to keep it in. I like to use these type of jars here. So actually, here's a finished version of it.
There we go.
So this is what you're going to put it into. You don't need to know how to can. If you do know how to can, this is a totally cannable jam, but you don't need to do that.
That's a different segment.
That's a different segment.
Day.
Right.
All
So
right. Put that front and center, folks.
Perfect.
Folks can admire it, and to get the recipe, that's real easy too. Just go to our website, newcentermaine.com/207. Also the app. You'll find the recipe for the strawberry vanilla preserves, and you'll find more information on Allison Carroll Duffy and her cookbook, Preserving with Pomona's Pectin. Allison, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Stay with us. Back with more right after this.